Welcome everybody to episode 7 of Clout Room. My name is Maz and you can find me on BitClout under MAZ. First of all, thank you guys so much for tuning in and the continued support. We greatly appreciate it. If you're watching this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And yeah, thank you again for the support. So in this video, we are launching our very first sponsored time slot. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be offering our investors 30-second time slots throughout the episodes that we continue to do forward. And we have our first investor that picked a slot and picked an ad today. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So this episode is sponsored by an investor who wanted me to tell you that I have an inside scoop that Arts and Douglas are going to be working on a special project that's really big. It's coming soon over the next week. And that's all that I can say. But I want you to go on their profile and comment what is Project X on both Arts and Douglas. I'm going to link their profiles down below. And this video is sponsored by that message. So thank you again for supporting and make sure to go spam their accounts and let them know what is Project X. All right, thank you guys, and let's get right into today's episode. All right, welcome everybody to episode 7 of Clout Room. I am excited to be here today, and we have a very special guest with us today. He is a BitClout OG. He is the founder of Bits Today. You know, he's been on the platform, for at least 2 months now, and he is the Reclout King himself. We have Mr. ASG in the building. What's going on, bro? Welcome.
Yo, what up, Maz? Excited to be here. Yeah, dude, let's get it.
Yeah, thanks for being here, bro. Last time I saw you, I officially met ASG in Miami, and it was an amazing time, meeting everybody. What'd you think of Miami, bro? How'd you like it?
Dude, it was a blast. It was absolutely exhausting. But it was so much fun being able to meet everyone, meet you, hang out, jam, being able to do a ton of networking and just
Yeah,
really, get to know people on the platform, whether it's, some of the larger accounts, whales,
yeah.
influencers, developers, or people that are new on BitClout. It was just so much fun. I think it was like the perfect first meetup, so to
Yep.
speak. Yeah, I loved it. What about you? What do you think?
Same thing, man. It was for me. It's just so crazy to me how I found the BitClout link on Twitter randomly. When I had a password, I said, "Fuck it, I'm
Hmm.
gonna join."
Yeah.
Um, and just from that, how this has become this in literally 2 months and some change. How quick it has evolved, and we've built from it, and the connections and
Hmm.
everything. So that was kind of a reality check to me. It's like, oh, this is for real. This is awesome.
Yeah, yeah. And I was talking with we actually maybe we'll get into this later, but Bits Today we have like a little clubhouse podcast that we do every so often, and we had Arts on
Yep.
just doing a Miami recap, and we were talking about just how um like there's this it's really interesting to see there's some real magic happening with BitClout where meeting people in person, um it's so like it felt like everyone had already known each other, right? And was
Yeah.
already so comfortable with each other. It was almost like before there's a difference between like meeting online and offline in person.
Yeah.
Um, and this was the first time where, on other social media platforms or on, doing Zoom meetings for work or just whatever. There's been a lot of times where I've had interactions or met with someone online via email, via Zoom,
Yeah.
Instagram, and then met them in person. And it's still like meeting them for the first time.
Yeah.
And this was the first time where it was like meeting you, like we just ran up and gave each other a big hug. And
He
it was
was
like,
like, bro,
this,
exactly, exactly.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's how it was with everybody.
Yeah,
And I don't know why. It's really interesting, but very, very cool.
agreed. Yeah, and we've all been talking, online for the last 2 months, every single day, looking at each other's posts and stuff. But you're right; it felt almost like we've known each other. It's like, oh, nice to meet you. Like, yeah, we kind of skipped that phase, that awkward phase. We just kind of went right into like,
Yeah.
yo, what's up, homie? Like, really cool experience.
Yeah, yeah. I think
So,
everyone's just like super it's just the energy.
yeah,
And it's been 2 months, but it really feels like a decade for whatever
absolutely,
reason.
absolutely. And that was a great podcast. I listened to it myself. So let's link that down below here. So if you guys, want to listen to a good Miami recap podcast, make sure to check out the Bits Today podcast. And yeah, it's a really good
Cool.
information. So let's do that. But let's rewind a little bit. Let's take it back. So how did ASG find out about BitClout, bro? I'm curious to know.
Yeah, I found out about it just like you via Twitter. I was, I'm on Twitter, so my regular day job, I'm in the technology space, the startup space.
Nice.
I do product marketing for technology startups. That's kind of, you know, um, what where my career has taken me, and because of that, I use Twitter as essentially like news, staying up to date with what's going on. I follow some people that are in that space,
Yeah.
people in the startup scene, in the venture capital scene, that sort of thing. And then I saw just a number of people um, posting that they're setting up their BitClout account, and I was, curious to what that was or what that meant. And I guess if we rewind back, I'm fairly new into the crypto space. I'm just about like a year in.
Hmm.
I'm not an expert by any means. I'm not one of those OGs bought Bitcoin in 2012 for
20, yep.
50 cents or whatever. I'm just like, yeah, I'm fairly new into it. Um, and so, starting to learn more about that over the last year or so, and then seeing people posting about BitClout, um, was, and then kind of doing a little bit of digging, researching what it was interesting to me.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, over the last 3 or 5 years, I've been really thinking about the idea or the concept of um, stocks for people.
Yeah.
Um, like I was thinking about, if you were able to invest in someone like, Elon Musk or Steve Jobs, when they were in college, knowing that, seeing their potential,
Hmm.
and being able to, not even having um, a company or a project or anything, but knowing that they're bound to be successful.
Yeah.
I always thought that was an interesting idea, and I couldn't really find a successful implementation of it anywhere. Um, and then so when I saw BitClout, it was like just like so many different concepts that I was
Hmm.
interested in, um, just converging. So I saw that. I think it was Ryan Hoover from Product Hunt that
Yeah.
posted that he was setting his BitClout up. I clicked the link. It said password access denied, and it just
Yep.
drove me absolutely crazy. So I saw more people doing it, and then every day I would click on it till finally, I'm not one of the OGs where they figured out the password or whatever. But I got in the day that they removed the password and it was
Yeah.
public. Yeah, dude, and I've wasted a ton of time ever since. So yeah.
Yeah, no, you bring up a great point, man. And just kind of backtrack a little bit. The way I see it is, let's say LeBron James, right? If
Hmm.
you buy his rookie card, or his jersey when he's in college or high school, that appreciates over time. Let's do that jersey is probably worth, 10x, 100x what it was worth back in the day, right? So very
Yeah.
similar concept, except there's no tangible good attached to it, right? That's kind of how
Hmm.
BitCloud can work, and it's has so much potential for people to really, invest in creators or builders or anybody, yeah, early in the game. So very
Yeah.
interesting concept. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, on that point, like it's mutually beneficial, right? Like if you um, take someone that has potential, but they may not have the means to build something, right?
Yeah.
And you're able to invest in them. You not only buy into something that has the potential of a high ROI, right?
Yeah.
To make you money, but you're also providing them um, with the ability via that investment to create whatever they think of
Exactly.
or decide. Right now, they have money, assets, that they need to actually build something. So it's
Exactly.
interesting. We're in its infancy, but like, dude, I don't know. 10 years from now, who knows?
Exactly.
Who knows
And
what 100's gonna be worth, right? That
dude,
that kid's the next
bullish
Elon
on
Musk.
100. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
for sure,
straight up.
minimum, dude. Absolutely. Well, that brings me to my next question. So, did you just initially join the platform as an investor, or did you join with the mindset that I'm going to create or build off of this platform? Because for me, when I signed up, I'm like, I want to buy Elon and make a lot of money and dip.
Hmm. Yeah. So, um, I did. I guess the short answer is neither. Like
Hmm.
my motive with when I joined the platform, the first day, the first week, really as soon as I joined in and logged in was I want to figure this out. I want to see what this is,
Hmm.
and see what it has the potential of becoming, right?
Yeah.
And at that point, I hadn't even thought of, what my move was. Am I going to focus on investing? Am I going to try to build um, my own account as sort of a creator or influencer? Am I going to do something different?
Yeah.
I just started poking around. I started testing things,
Hmm.
just trying to figure it out because the perspective that I had was I'm looking at something like Instagram and Instagram influencers, TikTok, YouTube, right? Um, and if I were able to like, and seeing these people that are, huge influencers on the platform or have built like businesses on top of YouTube or even
Hmm.
Facebook, there's billion-dollar businesses um, that run exclusively on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
So, looking at all of that and thinking, okay, if I could hop in the time machine and go backwards to like a week after Instagram launched,
Yep.
um, where would I be now, right? All these people that have really built real like legacies, empires on top of Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or Twitter even. Um, so, my thought was I'm gonna get on this and figure out what it's going to be.
Yeah.
So hopefully in 10 years, um, I will not have to take the time machine back, and I will
Exactly.
help figure it out now. So
Exactly.
yeah, so I was just really poking around, um, posting a bunch of nonsense, just like everyone else was, trying to
Hmm.
understand the platform. I tried investing. Yeah, I still invest a little bit, but frankly, I kind of suck at it. Um,
Yeah. Same here.
yeah, so I just kind of focus on my mostly bits today and then my own profile for now. But in the
Yeah.
beginning, it was just like posting stuff to see. I guess my first experiment was um, I post. My thought is, what does success look like on this platform? And as far as engagement is concerned,
Yeah.
um, because the common denominator with all social media is engagement. That's the most important thing. Um, so, like an hour in, I posted. I saw, there's verified accounts with um, five-figure coin prices and thousands of followers, and they were
Yep.
getting like 3 likes
Hmm.
and 2 comments. Right at this time, there was no reclout, there was no
Yeah.
diamonds, nothing like that. And I was like, this is interesting that like the biggest accounts are getting very low engagement.
Hmm.
So I remember I was like, I want to try to figure out how to hack this. So now looking back, this is kind of stupid and it's all over the place. But at the time, I kind of it kind of sparked something in me. I posted um, a post that said, "Hey, where's everybody from around here?" Right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna invest um, I'll invest $20 into the person who is farthest away from where I am.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm not going to tell you where I am. Right. So you have to comment and you might be close to me, you might be far. Right.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting like 30 comments and I had like 9 followers at the time, and
Yeah.
I had had my account for like an hour. And I was like, okay, there's something here. I feel like I can figure this out. Um,
Hmm.
so I mean, now there's a ton of uh, engagement hacks where people say, I invest in whoever does this, or whoever reclouts this, or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but at that time, I kind of felt like I figured something out, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, dude. And at the time, like you said, 10 likes was like, dude, you're killing it with 10 likes, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely expanded over time and there's different strategies now. And that's the beauty of being so early is that it's constantly changing, right? From where we first
Hmm.
started to now, it's a whole different mindset, it's a whole different strategy. And just evolving with the platform itself has been awesome. And yeah, that brings me to my next point, which is your project, Bits Today. Definitely, I would say one of the most important projects on the platform. Um,
Wow.
how did it
Thank
get
you.
started? How did it get started, and what has made it become what it is today?
Yeah, man. So this story, people ask this a lot, and I don't think it ever gets old.
Yeah.
It's such a fun story. Bits Today is, for people that don't know, it's a like a daily digest of all things BitClout.
Yeah.
It's an article format, and currently it's on Medium, it's on Substack, for free. You could get it in your mailbox every day.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, and we just talk about really all things BitClout, and it started a couple months back. Started by accident. At least I started it by accident. So what ended up happening is Andy Arts, who's a true, like, Genesis block OG whale, on BitClout and in real life. He posted he posted a post saying, "Hey, I'm moving out of my apartment today, so I'm not gonna be on BitClout. If someone, whoever, whatever creator or team of creators, um, writes like a newsletter or an article going over everything that I missed out on today, I'll invest in the team or the project or the creator or whatever."
Nice.
Um, so he posted that, and it just kind of blew up. And I had no intention of doing that. People immediately started commenting on it and started creating it. He created this sort of contest, right?
Yeah.
And this was, I think it was a week or two into me being on BitClout, and um, I had already felt really guilty because I had seemingly wasted so much time on this platform that I was
Mhm.
neglecting my real job and I was really far behind. And so I was about to log off, um, and go to lunch, and I was going to probably like, my thought was to not even log back in. Like, oh, this was a fun experience, um, but I'm wasting too much time. I have rent to pay. I need to focus on my real life, real job. And I saw Arts post that post, and I commented on it. I was like, dude, this is a good idea. Like everything that he posts was like absolute fire. So I was like, dude, this is a killer idea. And of all the comments on it, he responded to my comment and he said, "So are you volunteering?" Question mark.
Love it.
And I'm like,
You have no choice.
like, yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna be like, no, man. Like, I'm not gonna do it. So I was like, yeah, like I'll do it. Why not? It just seemed like a good opportunity. And as soon as I said yes and submitted the comment, he just aped into my account. And really, all of BitClout was following that thread at that time. So a bunch of
Yeah.
other people jumped in. I got absolutely spammed with people, wanting to contribute and help. Um, and then I started, yeah. And then me, and a couple others created the first issue. Um, and the rest is sort of history. So we have a small team, and I guess that, the the next step after I got, you know absolutely spammed by people jumping into my account, DMing me, commenting, saying that they want to help. I thought, okay, I need to
Yeah.
get this I just need to get an issue out or one article
Mhm.
out. So I reached out to a couple people. The first person that I reached out to was Taylor, who's a his name's Drip Colt on BitClout,
Yeah.
and he's my best friend from like high school, and he's a
Nice.
killer like graphic designer. Um, so I reached out to him and I'm like, hey, like I have to do this thing now, and I need to create the account, and it's not letting me create it without a profile picture. So
Yeah.
can you like whip up like a logo for me? And he's like, yeah, whatever. What do you want? And I was like, okay, let's do something with a globe. So he created the globe, the bits that you see in the Bits Today logo. I was like,
Yeah.
do something with the globe and have it BitClout related, and just like copy the Morning Brew logo. And
Yeah.
he spent all but 2 minutes creating the logo, and he did the globe, and he put the BitClout logo on the globe.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I like it, but I feel like the BitClout logo's pretty tired. Everyone's sort of using it.
Yeah.
I want to stand out a bit. So since we're going to be going over everything that happened today, like re-going over it, what if you do like the reclout symbol? And this was actually I think the day before reclouts were released.
Oh, nice.
Um, yeah. So he put that there, and then he sent me like three variations, and I grabbed the first one he sent me and I uploaded it, and like that's our logo. I spent all but 30 seconds, maybe even less, thinking of the name Bits
Yeah.
Today, put that in. And then the next step for me was to reach out to NVO or Nick. He's
Yeah.
NVO on BitClout, and I had interactions with him just on BitClout. I didn't know him personally, but I had a few interactions with him just on posts. I had actually
Yeah.
posted a Naval Ravikant quote, and this account named NVO commented on it, correcting Naval's grammar. And
Dang.
I was like, dude, what a move, you know? So
Yep.
I clicked on the account, and in the bio it said that he's a writer.
Nice.
So I made a joke about him being a writer, and then fast forward to all this madness happening. I just remembered that, and I messaged him totally blind, saying, "Hey, do you want to be like the official like editor of whatever this is going to be?"
Yeah.
And then he responded with LOL, okay. And then that was it. And then the rest is history. So now
Dude.
he writes all the issues, and then we're a team of three. Um, and we were publishing daily issues, up until, for the first couple of weeks we were 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Now because we're building, we're down to every other day, 4 days a week. But
Mhm.
yeah, dude, it's been wild.
Amazing. Yeah, and it all just kinda happens so effortlessly, right? Just kind of all like, fit in together like puzzle pieces. And when I met all you guys in Miami, if I didn't know you guys, I would have swore you guys have known each other for forever, you know?
Yeah,
There's a
yeah,
nice bond
dude.
there, nice bond.
Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, me and Taylor were like, we were joking but really serious with NVO. So he came. So we met him for the first time in person in Miami, and we're
Yeah.
at this time we're like almost 40 issues in, right? And we talk every day, multiple times a day. We hadn't even met in person. Like
Yeah.
we're we're a business together. We're all part owners of the same business. We didn't know this guy from John or whatever, and we were so stoked. I remember we were telling him, and me and Taylor were saying like, "Dude, we're so glad NVO isn't like some weirdo in real life." He's like a cool
Yeah.
guy. And I remember our first official uh, like video chat that we had. I think it was after 2 or 3 issues. As soon as we got off that chat, me and Taylor, because we've been basically lifelong friends, and we're like, "Dude, like NVO is sick. Like
Yeah.
he totally seems like our type of friend and friend group." So it was just perfect. It was like such a serendipitous moment that just worked.
Yep.
It was really cool.
I love it, man. And yeah, it looks like I said again, Bits Today, one of the most important projects on the platform. And it just comes down to being early and taking the opportunity, and shout out Arts, for doing that. So I have a similar story myself. Our art's aped into my account, and I was like, how can I bring value to the community? And I thought about it long and hard. I'm like, I love shooting videos. I love editing. Let's go ahead and make a podcast and just make some shows revolving around BitClout. But, we've been spending so much time on the platform. And, personally, myself, I haven't really monetized it yet. So
Hmm.
I don't know about you. Have you monetized yet, or what's your plan? Because we are spending a lot of hours on this. How do we think of this as a full time gig? As full time creators on the platform?
Yeah, yeah, that's really the question.
Yeah,
As far as like, so I there's two sides of it for me. There's the Bits Today project, and then there's my personal account.
yeah,
Um, my personal account, I have done zero like monetization at all. Right? People
yeah,
have just been supporting me by investing in my account. I haven't offered any perks yet, any investor like exclusive access to anything.
yeah,
Um, you know, um, I'm starting to kind of chew on some ideas from that standpoint. As
yeah,
far as the bits today, we have just now started the monetization piece,
mhm,
um, a couple of different ways. I- Mostly it's sponsored posts and ads.
yeah,
um, we started doing a like a what's it called, like an auction, for our first official ad, um,
nice,
and we were able to get a good amount of money. We got $2,000 for that, and this was
amazing.
a month, a little over a month ago, and that was awesome. From Connor Mitchell. Shout out to Connor.
Oh,
He's
nice.
got, yeah, he's got a killer podcast, a daily podcast, and he promoted that. And then so we're doing sponsored posts, sponsored ads, and on top of that, we have our number one investor perk for Bits Today is our top 10 investors get reoccurring monthly ad placement
Nice.
in one of our daily issues. And they can use that however they like. They could auction it off. They can use it to highlight their own profile or their own projects. They could use it to highlight um, projects that they've invested in to give
Yeah.
them more exposure. Um, so that is officially launched. We have not yet launched our first ad yet, but we're in contact with our top 10 there.
Nice.
Um, and yeah, and then we also have started selling merch for Miami and been,
Yep.
making a good chunk of change that way. So it's really funny because the all currently, at least, our all of our monetization has been super like old school and by the book, right?
Yeah.
Merch sales and sponsored posts.
Yep.
But we have some ideas moving forward of cool ways that we can monetize. Just being, you know, really, so for our daily um, newsletter, we're highlighting everything that's happening on BitClout, highlighting creators, projects, accounts, and
Yeah.
designers, everything, musicians, celebrities, and every just about every account that we highlight has gets some sort of uptick in engagement and investments and follows after we publish.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of eyeballs reading our articles, and a lot of influential people that are able to move the needle
Yeah.
for other people, right? And looking at it for um, investments, investing opportunities, etc. An example is one of our biggest fans and most avid readers is Jake Udell, and
Nice.
he's always singing our praises, which we absolutely love. He's the man, but he'll go and we'll highlight a creator that's doing something interesting, and someone like him will go and invest after seeing it. So some
Love
things
that.
that we are considering are, you get access to the issue or the list before we publish it publicly, um, based on investments, and we're also in the process of um, releasing special edition issues, and offering those for purchase. You know, if you'd like to have your own special edition issue written about your project or what you're doing, um, you know, we have some ideas there. So that's kind of where
Absolutely.
we're at.
Yeah.
You know, it feels like we're um, like a little bit slow in implementing these things, but when you really
Mhm.
take a step back, like this whole platform is 3 months old. So we
Exactly.
want to make sure, you know, we do it right. You know, we don't want to just like we're not super worried about the money coming in now because we know it will. We just want to make sure that we have our ducks in a row and we're really deliberate with what we do, um, so we don't have to like backtrack and it gets, you know, hairy from that standpoint.
Exactly. And that's a great point. I feel like I'm very similar as well in that point of view where it's like, I do want to monetize, but I'm not in a pressure to monetize right now in expense of potentially losing, value in the future, right? So it's kind of a
Hmm.
fine line that we're in as far as monetizing because there's no real way because the rent's still got to be paid, right? So there's no way to
Yeah.
really take money out right now as a creator and handle everything so we can be full-time creators, right? So
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting to see what it's going to take for us to become, full time creators on the platform. Is there anything that you're looking for
Yeah.
in specific to be able to be like, yo, I'm going to quit my job, big cloud all day, every day?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, if I could pay my mortgage with ASG coin or
Yeah.
BitClout,
Yep.
I'll quit my job. No, yeah, so I'm in that same boat. I think that um me, myself like you, we're just looking for an indication and a pathway
Yes.
to be able to really go all in and you know, get our bills paid from BitClout. The interesting thing is you can get in the few really it's kind of um the off ramp is the real um reason, or the real only thing needed for the floodgates to open, I think.
Yeah.
um and I think that's, you know, days like might even be what, the
2 days.
2 days
Yeah.
away,
2 days.
right? Yeah,
Exactly.
who knows, we might be putting in our 2 weeks notice on Monday, who knows, right?
Yep.
um So I think from that standpoint, that's one way to go. Another way is that I've kind of been thinking about is just the just, and I don't know like if this is the way to go or not, but um, monetizing some sort of monetization strategy with fiat, right? For example, the t-shirts that we've been selling, those are just purchases, you know, with a credit card. You're not
Yeah.
buying those with BitClout
Hmm.
or with investments. Um, and maybe some of the sponsored posts, if we, you know, if we do that just with fiat purchases, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that. That is one thing that we've been considering. The maybe we could talk about it later, but the t-shirts we actually just did like for fun, almost as a
Yeah.
joke. Um, but we were able to make a little bit of money there. But the interesting part is you can make money, you can make BitClout, which very quickly can um, be transferred into fiat currency
Hmm.
as an influencer or as a creator, but without having any following, um, any influence, any engagement or content strategy. You could also very likely make a living on BitClout just from the investment side, right?
Yeah.
Um, and being able to make money on investment. So that's a very interesting component, I think, to this whole thing. Where on Instagram, there's a lot of money to be made, but you have to be an influencer. You have to get all those followers, and it's a hustle, right?
Yeah.
Um, Here, there's different paths. You could take the creator path, you could take the influencer path, you could develop some sort of project. Um, I mean, they're all a hustle in their own right. and they're all will all take time. But I feel
Yeah.
like the barrier to entry and the barrier to monetization um, is pretty even right now. Does that make sense?
Mhm. No, absolutely. Makes complete sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, the reason same here. So I'm not obviously I have Instagram, Twitter, and a couple other platforms, but I don't ever post or take time to post on those platforms for the same reason you just said. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and opportunity cost for me. I could be doing something else, but with BitCloud, I see the potential of monetization for providing value to an online community. So that's the reason again that I spend so much time on here. Unlike Instagram or Twitter, where it's impossible. The only way to do it, you have to pay them for ads or pay them for exposure, and it's not even guaranteed. I would say it's impossible to become an influencer nowadays unless you know somebody on other platforms.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's really, really hard. I mean, and that's why, like, I think people um, really, like, really underestimate the impact of getting onto BitClout now, like
Yeah.
today, right?
Hmm.
A lot of people talk about how early we are and how awesome it's going to be in the future, but like, if you really, really look at it, like, it's on Instagram. There's like, I don't know, half a billion users or what have you.
Yeah.
It's being able to stand out there, like you said, is pretty impossible. On BitClout, as of today, there's like 9,000, 10,000 daily active users. It's really not that, it's not that hard um, to make yourself known and and establish a
Yeah.
presence there, right?
Hmm.
There's today it's never going to be easier to be seen on BitClout than it is today. Tomorrow
Facts.
it's going
Yep.
to be harder, and the day after that it's going to be harder, and the day after that it's going to be harder as more and more people join.
Hmm.
So making the most of today, I think, will um, pay off, tenfold if you hustle, if you put in the work and you're consistent and you just post and just
Absolutely.
post and post and post and post. People don't post enough, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I agree. People don't post enough, exactly. And I think it comes down to feeling like a lack of engagement, right? So if you make a post, it only gets one like, or nobody comments, they kind of stop. But it's almost like what's that saying go? You got to shoot more shots to make more points. Just got to keep putting posts out until that you start getting traction. And you're really good at that, man. We were looking at your Prosper Clout. You do a lot of reclouts, and that's amazing for people because you provide exposure to creators, which is awesome. You're
Yeah.
connecting different yeah, it's really cool. Is there a reason behind why you reclout so much, or you just reclout whatever you like, or
Um, I mean, yeah, there's not just like, there's a lot of reasons.
yeah,
Um, I think that I've been fortunate enough to gain a fair amount of traction on
yeah,
BitClout. I'm like you. Um, I'm just a guy. I had zero following
yeah,
on any of my other platforms or real like presence, outside. I wasn't an influencer on Instagram or Twitter or anything like that. Um, I have all of those platforms just like you, but my Instagram is just pictures of my kids and like my
yeah,
dinner, and I post like maybe once a month.
yeah,
Um, so I I also realized that the how should I say this? The from a marketing standpoint and putting on my uh, you know marketing glasses here, because that's my background, my is
yeah,
product marketing, marketing strategy. Um, some of the most powerful marketing that you could do um, are things that don't scale, right? Um, things that you have to do one on one.
yeah,
Whether it's if you have a t-shirt company and someone orders your t-shirt and you write them a handwritten note, like, that person is probably going to be a customer for life, right? It
yeah,
turns them from a customer to um, really an evangelist for you. The
Hmm.
problem with that is you can't write a handwritten note for every single for 100 people a day, 1,000 people a day, 10,000 people a day, right?
Yeah.
Now, with BitClout, I've realized that in the future, there's a lot of things that I do um, that don't scale.
Yeah.
But right now, uh, because of where BitClout is, the number of followers that I have, the number of users there are, I you can do those things that don't scale, and those
Hmm.
things are meaningful, right? The idea is that turns someone from just a regular user or a follower into a Bits Today evangelist, supporter, fan, or an ASG evangelist, supporter, fan, right?
Hmm.
So if you take that out and then you take the other side of it, which is we are so early, and since we are so early, just about everyone that's on the platform is like pretty poised to be successful long term, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm able to get someone today that is an evangelist for me and a supporter of me, and a year from now they're they've grown to be a large influencer and they still continue to support me, that and you kind of play that out, that
Yeah.
that seems like a pretty good bet. So that's just kind of what I've been doing, and I've noticed that um, we're all businesses, right? Um, and in order for businesses to be successful, you have to um, do good business practices.
Yeah.
And as of right now, I think people really overcomplicate their strategy
Yeah.
and and what they're doing. For me, I just think, what do I want what do I want to happen with my account? I want my posts to receive likes and comments and reclouts. I want my followers to increase, and I want people to buy my coin.
Yeah.
Okay, that's probably what just about everyone else wants.
Hmm.
So I'm just gonna do those things, right?
Yeah.
And hopefully they'll be stoked and do it back. And I mean, it's been fairly successful. I hope that answers your
Exactly.
question.
It
I
does.
don't even remember your question.
No, dude, it brings a lot of good info, absolutely. And it just comes down to investing time and effort on the platform. You can't just mindlessly be on the platform right now, especially because we need more of value engagement than any other platform, right? You can't just
Yeah,
yeah, we need people to really be engaging with everybody to make this successful. And I think we all have an incentive, which is if you're successful, I'm successful, as many creators are successful, the platform succeeds, then we all succeed, right? So that's kind of the incentive with, having monetization on the platform for all of us,
yeah, yeah,
which
yeah.
is
Oh,
cool.
yeah, and then on the reclouts, one of the reasons that I reclout things a lot is I mean, if I don't reclout anything that I don't you know I mean, a reclout isn't an endorsement, but
Yeah.
if it's something that I'm reclouting, it's because I feel like for whatever reason, um, it deserves to be seen by people, right?
Yeah.
It's a share. A reclout is a share button,
Yeah.
and one of the biggest issues or shortcomings currently, probably the biggest issue on BitClout, is discoverability.
Yeah.
Global feed is a nightmare. You
Yep.
can't find anything, right? So a reclout is, as my my influence and followers grow. Um, a reclout is kind of my way of, it helps with that discovery problem, right?
Absolutely.
It allows my group of followers to see something that they very likely um, wouldn't see. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Nice. Yeah, absolutely. And I don't use a global page anymore myself. I just base my feed off who I follow. So reclouts are such an important way for me to find new people and new pages on the platform lately. So we appreciate that, bro.
Yeah.
So moving on, so a lot of small creators on the platform, but there's also big creators, right? We have, for example, one of the most iconic people on social networks ever, Pamela Anderson, on the platform herself, and she's not on other platforms. So it's kind of like, what do you think it's going to take for other big influencers to spend more time on Big Clout? You know?
Yeah, man. That's such a good question, and that is the question. And I think that
Yeah,
there's so many pieces to it. So I think that um y- yeah, so right now it's not something that I'm super worried about. I think that they
yeah,
will come. I think you know, Pamela Anderson is an absolute legend for what she's been doing. She's committed to only focusing on social media, um, and I mean, sorry, only focusing on BitClout
Big
and,
Clout.
and
Yeah,
no other social
I
media,
know it's crazy.
and that's amazing. I mean, she was obviously a legend before that, but um, yeah, and there's a number of other influencers that have come on, um, and it's really helped with put the credibility stamp on
Yeah,
BitClout, right? I think the to answer your question, um, onboarding, I think it's really going to happen with nodes. I think
yeah,
that once we have some nodes that are a lot more user friendly, that allow you to seamlessly get on and use the platform, invest, create, post, um, offboard your or off
off ramp or
off yeah,
yeah,
that allow you to cash out, right,
yeah,
and make money. I think that will be a lot of it. I think a lot of it is also the audience, right?
yeah,
So there's twofold. It's kind of a chicken before the egg. Um, the influencers bring the audience, but the influencers also need the audience, right?
yeah,
Um, and I think that, frankly, we've been focusing a little bit too much on getting the influencers on,
yeah,
and not enough on getting the influencers audience on,
yeah.
because
Facts.
um, yeah, because if there's a lot of things that need to be done from um, the product level for the influencer to come on, but
Yeah,
if the audience is here, the influencer will do just about anything to get to the audience.
yeah,
So that is something that I've been thinking about, and something that I've been thinking about is what is I see the benefit. It's the benefit is obvious for the influencer, right?
mhm,
Everyone talks about how on Instagram people make money on Instagram, but Instagram owns everything. Uh, they don't get paid nearly as much as they should be, um, and they'll be able to own everything when they come to BitClout.
yeah,
Now, that is not. I mean, that's a hell of a good sales pitch for an influencer, but that's not a super good sales pitch for just like a regular person, right?
mhm,
Uh, People are kind of sick of hearing rich people taking vacations in the Bahamas twice a month, wanting to make more money, right?
yeah,
So what I've been thinking about is what is what is the incentive for what I understand the incentive for an influencer to bring their audience on to BitClout, but what is the incentive for the audience to come on BitClout? Um, what do they gain that they don't gain by following the influencer on the other platforms? And I think
yeah.
that that is a very important um, part of this that no one's really talking about. And I think that that is something that we need to figure out. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Makes complete sense. And my best answer to that is exclusive content, right? If I'm a fan of this person and I know for a fact they only put this amount of this content on BitClout, I'm gonna join BitClout, I'm gonna learn BitClout, and I'm gonna invest my time there following them. If not, like you said, if I'm a fan, what's the point of me following this person on BitClout? You know, I know they're already rich. Why do I want to buy more of their stuff? You know, so it's like I think
Yeah.
that's a good bridge we need to close for sure. Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think, I mean, there's definitely like there will be incentives, like you said. Um, but like someone will they offer exclusive influencer X offers exclusive content for um owning their coin.
Yeah,
Influencer Y offers free whatever for owning their coin. So they'll all have some sort of incentive.
yeah,
Um, but like across the board, um, it's like I think we as a community need to really figure out like the like really nail down like the pitch for like the average person, you know?
yeah.
Um, because we've having the influencers on here are important, but I don't think that the everyday person should be ignored.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Absolutely. And I'm sure that's just going to level out as we proceed to, build the platform the more time goes by. But we definitely need to see that for it to be successful. Completely agree. Which brings
Yeah,
me to
yeah.
my next question, bro. So, where do you want to see Bit Cloud in 1 year, and where do you want to see Bits today in 1 year? What's your vision now that you've been on the platform for 3 whole months?
Yeah. So 1 year from today, where do I want to see BitClout? Um, and where do I want to see Bits today? So that is such a hard question. I
Yeah,
think a year, yeah. I mean, like it's like it could go so many different directions that yeah. I think a year from today, it would be I don't think we're going to be going to bitclout.com
okay.
and using BitClout. I
Mhm.
wouldn't be surprised if maybe a year from today is one thing, but 2, 3 years from today, um, the term BitClout is not even super visible, or people may not even know about it, right? It may not
Yeah.
be on the platform at all. Um, you know, talking with Nigel Eccles, who's building Flick app, he built, he founded, he's the original founder and CEO, co-founder and CEO of FanDuel.
Mhm.
Um, Also, Bits Today podcast host. And
Yep, he's
you and I went
awesome.
to dinner with him
Yeah, he's
in
awesome.
Miami. Best dude ever.
Yep.
Sharpest, smartest dude, right? And talking to him and listening to him, like the BitClout, there's two sides of BitClout. There's the blockchain, and then there's BitClout.com. Like BitClout is a protocol, right? Um, like HTTP is a protocol.
Mhm.
Um, and bitcloud.com is like the proof of concept, and that the audience uses to interact with the blockchain.
Yeah.
um, but it's strictly a proof of concept. All these other apps, nodes, etc., Flick being an example, I think it's a great example. There's a number of mobile apps, but Flick is the one mobile app that doesn't have the word clout or BitClout in it.
Yeah.
um, and you still have, once you're in it, using the app, you still purchase BitClout, etc. Um, but there's no like playing this out. I think there's a world where the average user doesn't even know what BitClout is,
Yeah.
or it's far on the back end. It's just running things in the background, and they use it just like every other social media. And there's coins in there. There's creator coins, but um, the BitClout is now that you use to buy creator coins is now Flick coin,
Yeah.
or whatever, right? And it's just pegged to the BitClout. So um, It's not even needed. So I think that a year from now, um, we may I fairly certain we won't be going to bitclout.com to be using
Yeah.
it. Um, and I think that other than that, I don't know. I don't know what it's gonna be. I know what it's not gonna be, and I'm fairly confident it's not gonna be what it is today
Yeah.
and used how it is today. I think,
Absolutely. Yeah.
if that makes sense.
No, that makes complete sense. So, people that watch this or are on the platform a year from now, they won't know necessarily Big Clout. They won't know who Vegas Dave is. They won't know, a
Yeah,
lot of things. But yeah, that's awesome,
yeah.
man.
I think, yeah, and I think I'm curious to see what happens. In at the no on the um just on the node level, there's so much freedom. Um, I mean, not this is just one example because there's a ton of amazing projects being built, but this is just top of mind. In the Uber on the way to dinner with Nigel in Miami, we were talking about um, what he's building for Flick, the mobile app. It
Yeah.
currently doesn't have reclouts, and it doesn't have diamonds. I don't think it has diamonds. Yeah, it doesn't have diamonds. It's going to have diamonds. And I was talking to him. I'm like, "Do you have reclouts on the roadmap? Are you going to be building reclouts? Are you going to be including diamonds?" And he's like, "I don't know, probably." But he brought up a really good point. Like, this is an opportunity um, to really create something new and influence behavior, right?
Yeah.
Um, he's like, what if we just don't have likes? What if we only had diamonds, right?
Oh, wow.
Um, what if we don't have reclouts? What if we have something else, right? You like Facebook introduced um, friends and introduced likes, right?
Yeah.
Twitter introduced followers and introduced reclout.
Retweets. Yeah.
Those are like the firsts, right? And those exist on BitClout purely as a from a proof of concept level.
Yeah.
But what are going to be the firsts that BitClout have, right? This social media platform could be completely, probably should be completely different than everything else that's already out there. I mean, diamonds is a good example,
Dude, I love it. Yeah.
um, but it could be something completely different that we haven't even considered. I don't know.
Exactly. No, I love it. Yeah, it's kind of hard to really decide, right? Because yeah, it's limitless. There's so many
Hmm.
opportunities, and it's gonna be fun to look back a year from now, though. The blockchain stores everything. The reason I like doing these videos is because we can look back at them a year from now and just replay these conversations and just see how far we've come. So pretty cool stuff,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, it's so exciting.
hmm Well, thank you so much for being joining us today. Do you have any last words you want to leave us with before we end the video here?
Let's see. Moz undervalued. Go buy Moz coin. Yeah, no, just you know, reach out to me on BitClout. If you're watching this, DM me or whatever, and let's connect. I'm an absolute BitClout maxi, and excited to, I'm in it for the long haul.
Yep.
Me and Moz, we're on a race to see who quits their job first to
Yep.
go all in on this thing. I think we're getting close. So yeah, nope. Follow myself. Follow Bits Today on BitClout, and yeah, BitClout to the
Perfect.
moon, baby.
Absolutely. Perfect. Let's have you stand by. I'm just going to close this episode out. So thank you to ASG for joining us today and providing some valuable information about the platform, about, what his vision is, where it's headed, and just overall good, valuable content. I'm going to make sure to link his info down below, also as well as Bits Today. And yeah, make sure you guys check out the platform. If you guys have any questions at all, please feel free to DM me, ASG, and yeah, we're always active on the platform. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and listening. We will see you on the next episode. And again, please make sure to subscribe. If you found this informational, if you found this valuable, entertaining, make sure to recloud it. And just, thank you again for the continued support. And I will see you on the next episode. Peace.